Welcome back to Blazor WebAssembly Authentication. This is part 3, where we show you how to test the APIs that we created in the previous video using Postman, just to verify that everything works before we get into the client side. So let's get started. Okay, in this video, should be a shorter one, I just want to show you how to use Postman and SQL Browser to look at the database and then also make a couple of API calls in order to ensure that the APIs that we have set up are indeed working the way we expected. Let's take a look at the database. I use SQL Browser to do that since it's a SQLite database. Let me bring that over here. And you can see that the database structure for the database has ASP.NET role claims. All of these tables are used by Identity Core. You can set up roles and claims and other things relative to core identity. The only thing we're setting up right now is this ASP.NET users. And here we have the various fields that we showed you previously, and then here's the last name and first name. The only other thing I want to show you over here is in the ASP.NET users table. Now here you can browse through any of them. All of them will be empty right now. If I look at ASP.NET users, it's empty. And we'll come back to that in a little bit to see, once we execute some of these commands, what happens, or API calls. So I've got the app running in Chrome. Here it is here. It's running in localhost 44377. And we'll go into Postman and we'll take a look at, let's first register a couple of users. So the first thing we want to look at is, as we saw in the code, we'll go back to the code, we'll go to the controller, user controller. There is a API register command that expects a user registration object. User registration is first name, last name, username, password, and confirm password. So we will first set up a post for API/register. In the headers, we'll set up accept application JSON and content type of application JSON. And then in the body, we're going to send in a user registration. So we've got first name Fred, last name Flintstone, username FF, password pass123 ? Confirm password pass123 ? Now I left the defaults, which require a capital, a small, a number, and a special character. So in this case, but you can set options accordingly right here. That's why it's a little bit of a sophisticated password. All right, and if I send this, I get back a 200, and I get back user ID token and expiration date. So let's take a look at what I expected to get back. If I go to the user controller and I look at the return result is a login result, and the login result is user ID token expiration date, and indeed that's what I got back. So that's great. So that's the first result. And then let's just do, for sake of just showing something else, let's put in Bill, and let's put in G, and let's put BG, and we'll leave the password the same way. Do another register, and we'll click on send. All right, get back the same information, all good. So let's go over to SQL Browser. Let's refresh the database, and we see that we've indeed added 2 people to the table. So that's great. So now let's do a couple of additional things. Let's do a get, and here we will, let's do this. So in the get, it's going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be a get localhost 44377 API/users. In the headers, we've got the same accept and content type. The only other thing is we have added a authorization, and the authorization is bearer space and this long code. So let's leave that one. So this was left over from the other day for me. This code should have expired by now. So when I click send here, we should get back a 401. So let's click send, and indeed I get a 401 unauthorized. So now how do I replace this with a good bearer token? Well, I can go back to the post and I can copy this entire token here. So let's Control C that, and we'll go over here to get, and in the bearer token we will replace it here. Let's make sure we get everything, and we do Control V. There's the new one, and if I click send now, I get back a 200 OK, and I get back Fred Flintstone and Bill G. So the get is working great now for the get users as long as I pass it in a valid bearer token. Now to show that again, if I get rid of the capital A at the end and I click send, I will get back a 401 unauthorized, and I'll put the A back and I get the 200 OK. So we'll just verify, so that looks good. So the last thing we'll do is we'll copy this user ID for Fred. We'll change the API to a /user/ with the ID associated with them. We'll leave the bearer token because if we don't have a bearer token, it's going to give us a 401. And when I click send, I get back just Fred. So that's working. And just to show that if I get rid of that capital A at the end and I click send, we get back a 401 unauthorized. I change this, give it the capital A, well, not with a Z, and I click send, and I get back the information. So it looks like our APIs are working exactly as we expected. So that's what I wanted to show you in this video. In the next video, we're going to go down into the Blazor WebAssembly client, and we'll start looking at how we structure an app around this information. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And as always, please reach out to me if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.